So I flew out to Vegas to go see some friends and celebrate the new year. And one of the new attractions in Las Vegas is the Sphere. And when you look at the Sphere, you're like, oh my God, what an amazing feat of architecture. What an amazing feat of design, of technology. But here's the thing. You're looking at things from the face value. And when you look at things from only the face value, it's nice to appreciate the beauty. But when you only appreciate the beauty and you don't pay attention to everything else around you, you're subject to the unconscious patterns that exist. You're not listening to the information that's available to you. So when you understand there's 580,000 square feet of LEDs in the Sphere. And what do LEDs do? They produce 400 nanometer wavelength light. And 400 nanometer wavelength light is a spectrum of light that is in the sun. So that's fantastic. But here, what blue light actually does, it has benefit. It stimulates cortisol so that you wake up in the morning, right? That's the whole point of blue light. It's stimulatory. And it's part of the wavelength spectrum of the sun that it's needed for life. But at the same time, excessive amounts of non-native light at the wrong times going down the retinal hypothalamic tract hits the thalamus gland and destroys myelin because it's excessive, right? Life is about balance. And blue light isn't only affecting your thalamus gland and all your sensory nerves, it's affecting your hormones. So there's a cascade of events that occur. 400 nanometer wavelength light is increasing epinephrine, stress response. That epinephrine increases cortisol. Everybody knows about cortisol, it makes you fat, right? Well, not necessarily. It has its place, has to be in balance. But that high cortisol increases creates high histamine. It then creates high serotonin, creates anxiety. High histamine creates leaky gut and autoimmune. That downregulates your thyroid production, your T3 and your metabolic rate, and your T3 has to convert in your liver to make your sex hormones. So you have high blood pressure. It just could be that vasopressin is activated and too high because of all the epinephrine. You're creating too much ammonia, and now you have high blood pressure, all because of light from devices in society that are like this. But you aren't aware of that because you're not paying attention to the world around you. You're not being intentional with the way that you live. Life is about being intentional. Know why you're doing everything. Think about why you're doing everything. Because consciousness is not this mystical spiritual thing. Yes, it is spiritual. But consciousness is the ability to respond without reacting. It's to have intention with everything you do. It's called mindfulness. So pay attention to what you're doing. And where I want to get with being mindful is there's a lot of societal programming that exists. When it comes to dating and relationships and money, and it's all ego constructs of the social structure. But for instance, when I talk about dating and being in Vegas, the city of sin, right? A lot of people are going out. They're like, oh, I'm gonna have a one-night stand. This is gonna be fantastic. This is gonna be fun. And honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If you're really, truly having a connection, you're not running around like a derper just trying to spread your seed, unconsciously not knowing why you're doing it, not making real connections. So what I want you to understand is the same people that are at home jerking off in their favorite hand sock on their crusty keyboard to get their nut milk it's no different than the guy who's running around unconsciously just trying to get his dick wet. They're both unconscious derpers. They're not paying attention to the world around them. They're driven by their reptilian brain. Now, you're a human being having a human experience. You don't have to be in that state like everybody else. The majority of people are just pleasure seeking to escape their miserable reality. But life can be beautiful. You want to live in a harem? There's nothing wrong with it. But be honest. Be intentional. with your goals or what you want to achieve. Be authentic with what you want from others. You don't get what you want, you get who you are. So when you deceive others, the body's keeping score, the universe is keeping score. I don't know if you read that book, The Body's Keeping Score, but it is. And it's holding these records, in the Akashic records, out in the galaxies. So now you're out in public and you are searching for this release of energy that you have because of the pent-up frustration. And you're using somebody just to spread your seed on an unconscious pattern to meet needs and validations. That's going to backfire on you. You're using other people to meet your needs. Now, the person who sits at home won't even go out and socialize, won't even connect with others, that's just as bad. So, be intentional with what you want to create. What you seek is seeking you. You want to live in a harem? Do it. Be intentional. Be honest about what your intention is. Allow others to participate if they choose. See, we're all having just a spiritual journey, and we're having lessons. And no matter what happens, the universe is teaching you. So, let's just say that you're going out on a regular basis. You're hooking up with lots of women. What is the karmic consequence? STDs? Yeah. All right. What happens when you sit at home, staring at the computer screen, not wanting to go out, fapping? You're going to wind up with cancer. You're going to wind up with heart disease, dementia, Alzheimer's, right? You're disassociating with your situation, trying to escape it. And you're exposing yourself to toxic electromagnetic fields and toxic blue light. Now, it's just like eating McDonald's. It doesn't accumulate in one day. It doesn't accumulate in a week. It doesn't accumulate in a month. It happens over time. It's the steps that you make that accumulate over time. The body's keeping score. The universe is keeping score. It's called karma. It's called karma. But you don't associate with that. That's some mystical Indian thing. Karma is not real. Well, let me tell you, the Bible reveals karma. The Bible reveals karma. Cast your bread upon water. Right? You remember that biblical text? Cast your bread upon water. I'm telling you, karma, reincarnation, there's quotes that are in the Bible. So you have to be intentional with your life. And the intention comes from many different ways. Consciousness comes from all over the place. Consciousness can come from reading a book. Consciousness can come from speaking to somebody, from having experience, from being in nature. There's unlimited ways. The universe is always conspiring for you. And as you embrace what is in your heart, living authentically and truthfully to yourself, you get the lessons you need. So don't compare yourself to the world around you and what your neighbors are doing and what your friends are doing. Don't try to belong. What is the path for you? Let the others judge you. Don't judge others. When you judge others, you receive the same karma. Everything's interconnected. You can't escape it. Everything is mass and matter. Everything, right? It's just a bunch of plasma. It's not even real. It's 99% plasma. It's a holographic universe. And you're creating it. So when you lie to others, that's saying to the universe, I don't accept myself authentically. I can't be who I am and get what I want. I have to use others through my ego to achieve success and fame. You don't need to do that. All you ever had to do was express yourself. Allow others to feel you, to know you. And as you light that torch, you invite other people to do the same. It gives other people the courage to do the same. Now, what one person wants may not be what another person wants. And that's okay. You have to allow the freedom of choice. You have to give people a choice. So be honest with your intentions, because the universe is always conspiring for you. But you truthfully have to be authentic with yourself, fully accepting yourself. When you internalize, deny, and disconnect from emotions, that's when the expression of illness appears. And that's the dildo of unintended consequences. You didn't think anything was going to happen to you. It won't happen to me. I'm special. No way it's going to happen to me, right? It's the behaviors in your life. It's the water, it's the food, it's the rest, it's the exercise, it's your mind. Your mind is your subconscious mind. It's 90% of the thought, the things you don't even realize. The experiences that are happening to you are happening for you, but you're judging them, sitting at home depressed, worried, anxiety, trying to control life. Well, and then you got to pay attention to not only your mind, it's also your posture. It's your environment. It's the electromagnetic fields in the environment from the Earth's magnetosphere. Look, see? Disrupting your circadian biology. Disrupting alpha MSH. Not producing melatonin because you're up late at night doing stupid stuff like this, going watching this. Now, you can expose yourself to some stress. Life is about balance, but you can't do too much. And so you also have to pay attention to electromagnetic fields. I'm creating a video, but it's on airplane mode. I minimize my exposure, but at the same time, I don't subject myself to secluding myself from all of society. I realize that if I increase the level of consciousness, I can tolerate more stress. I realize if I drink cleaner water, that I can handle more electromagnetic field stress when I fly. There's all the dynamics matter: water, food, rest, exercise, mind, environment, posture. But it's about being intentional. So don't be the guy who sits at home fapping into his favorite hand sock, making a crusty keyboard from his nut milk. And don't be the person who's out deceiving women or deceiving men just to get what you want for validation, using them for their men, or using them for their money, using them just for self-gratification, and then kicking them to the curb the next morning. Be intentional. If that's what you want, is just to get your rocks off and both of you come to an agreement, cool. No harm, no foul. But be honest about your intention before you take action in everything in life. Read the books. Go read Andrew Marino's book about the electromagnetic fields. Go read The Power of Infinite Love and Gratitude by Darren Weissman. Go read about Ray Peat and bioenergetic way of eating. Go read Biology Belief by Bruce Lipton. These are books that will help awaken you and be more mindful, realizing the power that's within you, realizing that the outside world is a reflection of what's in you. And that's just the surface level. There's so much more. So live in your heart. Don't do anything for anybody else. Do it because it's the right thing to do. And lead from that place. Because society does things like expose himself to 480 square feet of blue light at night, and that blue light is mandated by government authorities, and those government authorities brought that blue light to market for a reason. What you have to understand is it's lowering dopamine. We brought over all these German scientists after World War II. And when we brought over those German scientists, we studied apes and gorillas. We hooked up electrodes, and they were working with mind control. And they discovered that, oh my God, we don't need to use diodes and electrodes to brainwash people. It's a magnetic spectrum, and light is a magnetic spectrum. And so that light is actually lowering your dopamine, making you addicted. It's creating docile, obedient, militant people who just watch the television program and recite narratives. Operation Paperclip, that's what it was. And now, that's the root of it. It's all about the control that's there. So you don't have to live life just as you're told. It's about being intentional. It's about living a life of knowing what's right for you, because one man's path is not yours. Just because the government mandated LED lighting and energy efficiency doesn't mean you have to live in that. There's still options available. You don't have to constantly be out here in Las Vegas living a derper lifestyle of self-gratification to escape your miserable reality. It doesn't have to be done. You can let the society program you, or you can change the world. Because as you change the way you view the world you view changes. And it starts within you. So do what's right within you with honesty, integrity, living through your heart, disconnected from societal pressure and norms.